Yeah, alright guys, I'm just going through my little seed storage trays and I've noticed it's time to sow basil. According to the gump on the back of the packets, February to July, February to June, March to July. Yeah, good time. Right then, growing your own basil, quite easy and it's very rewarding. You're not stuck with just that one type that you get in the supermarket, which is, believe it or not, this one here. Basil Genovese, also called sweet basil or sweet green basil, and they're all the same. And in fact, if you look at the pictures, I mean, 2 seconds, can I do this? They even look the same. Right then, so I'll be doing a couple of these because I need a few, and I've also got some other varieties, some more specialised isn't the word, but different tastes, because basil you can go from the classic Italian, great with tomatoes, it's the one you get in pestos or pastas, to the spicy Thai ones and myriads in between, including different leaf colours. I mean, this one, dark opal, it's got a purple leaf, licorice taste. A little bit awkward to grow this one, but I'm going to try. I've also got blue spice, and that is a spicy one, and cinnamon. Guess what that tastes of? Yeah, cinnamon. Right then, so basil's an annual. It needs to be done every year. It doesn't overwinter. You can't keep it. So this is the pleasure. You can, if you don't like a particular specialist one year, you can grow it a different one another year. So stop talking, Steve, and start sowing. Okay then, so what do we need to grow basil? Well, we've got the seeds, you've seen those. Something to grow them in, and that can be seed trays, it can be plant pots, or yogurt pots. If you're using yogurt pots, things like that, make sure you poke a few holes in the bottom to let the water go out. One thing basil does not like is being wet, as in wet. It needs to be moist, but not wet. Okay then, so we got the containers. We just need some something to hold the seeds, and that's the compost. This is a seed compost. Now you'll use a seed compost if you're going to grow them in trays like this and then prick the seeds out later on into their final growing space. But if you're going to sow in here straight away, you need a multi-purpose compost. It's got more nutrients than the seed compost. So get some compost into your seed tray or whatever you're using. We'll start off with the seed tray. Get it nice and level, and then just gently firm it down. Don't go mad, just a little bit. And there we are. Now, because I'm sowing 2 different types in here, I'm going to put a little bit of stick in between. I'll do it. Just so I know which bit's which. And what I do, I use plant labels sometimes. I've labelled them up ready. But what I also do is I number my seeds, because I am useless. If I put that in there today, that'll be gone tomorrow and I won't know what it is. So what I do, I use a little bit of electrician's tape, and I give every seed a number, every plant a number, and I just write the number on the side of whatever I'm growing in. So in this case we are growing numbers 58 and 59. So 2 seconds. Using numbers like this makes it a little bit easier on my my growing index as well. We'll put the labels in later anyway. Right, so number 58. Let's put that there. There we go. And all we're going to do is scatter the seed lightly over the surface. I'm not going to sow an awful lot because basil is one of those plants that has a very good strike rate, which means that most of the seeds will germinate, unless they're very, very old, but I know these aren't. So what I'm going to do, just lightly scatter them over the top. You notice I put this one here to stop the seeds going that side. And that's that one. And next up, dark opal. Put that one that side, put that there, around a bit. Again, we don't need too many. And I'm just going to sprinkle them over. the good thing about sowing too many is if they all do germinate, germinate means the seed's taking root and they're growing. If they all germinate, you can give them away to friends. Right, so that's them done. And what I do now, just cover the seed with a little bit of compost. Now I'm using a very fine riddle or gardener's sieve. I'm just going to do a gentle tap in, and that'll do. And last up, a little gentle watering from the top. I use a spray gun just to dampen the soil, dampen the compost a little bit, get the seeds embedded. What we're going to do now is water the tray from below. Just let the water soak up through the compost and get the compost nice and moist and give the seeds a fighting chance. And then we just leave our labels in there, 58 and 59. Put the lid on the top, should just about fit. And these will go into a warm place. Needs to be about 20 Celsius. Top of a fridge is good, windowsill. Next up, do exactly the same in the yogurt pot. Like I said, we got holes in the bottom, got the compost. Going to stick my number on, and it is number 57, this one. So same again, just a few seeds scattered over the surface. And if you haven't got a riddle, just get a little bit of compost and just sprinkle it over the top, making sure there's no lumps in it. And if you haven't got a spray gun, just use an old 2-litre pop bottle. Some holes in the lid, just poke them through a sewing needle, and you've got a little spray gun. Who's that? And we need to cover this as well, just to keep the moisture in. Little kiddie's sandwich bag, that'll do it. If I can open the ziplock. There we go. There we go. Oh, I tell you what I forgot. What I forgot. See, look, I told you I forget. Forgot the label. Let's try again with a sandwich bag, Steve-o. Right, that's 2 done. Now the next 2, I'm going to use multi-purpose compost. Okay then, this is multi-purpose compost, and you can see it's a little bit rougher, and it's got more nutrients in it. That's what's good. And what I'm going to do with this one, I'm going to over sow this one, but I'm going to leave them in there so they'll grow and grow and grow, and I can just pick the leaves as I need them. Same sort of thing with this one, but I'll be giving this one away because they are the same basil. Okay then, Genovese in this one. I'm over sowing these. These are the last of my seeds, so there's no point saving just a few, so I'm putting them all in. And a few sweet basil. Sprinkle of compost on top. Quick watering. Another Ziploc bag. There we are. No need for a band on that one. And there we are, guys. 5 basils sown. Like I say, warm place now, and they will start popping up in about 10 to 20 days time. Well, let's see, eh? Okay then, I was pottering around the greenhouse earlier on, and I noticed that the basil that we sowed 6 days ago are now germinating. So what I'm going to do, leave the lids off now. So that's the cinnamon and dark opal. Ooch, let's get this off. Is this one germinating? Yes, it is. There we go. Little tiny seed leaves. And that is blue spice. This is... Now that is very strange. This is sweet green. But look in there, we got some green seedlings and some dark purple ones. And last but not least, heavily multi-sown Genovese. So I'll leave the lids off those now, leave the covers off, let them breathe a bit and give them some light, get them growing. Okay then guys, time to prick out and pot up the basil, or if you're in America or Canada, the basil. So 19 days ago, they started germinating about 13, 14 days ago. Now there's only so much nutrient in seed sowing compost, so it's time to get them on. In fact, some of these, look, it's what's damping off, I think. Some of these aren't doing very well anyway. I'm going to put them in these little tiny pots. These came from Lidl or Aldi, something like that. Great big tray with 30 or 40 little pots in them. Really, really handy. So for pricking out, first thing you do, put a bit of compost in the pot. Ordinary common garden multi-purpose compost. If you're using peat-free, have a look through it to make sure there's no big logs in there, because some of the peat-free compost these days is pretty abysmal. And what you do, you can either tip the whole tray out and find the seedlings one at a time, or you can use a little tool like this, or a bamboo skewer, anything. Just carefully tease the roots out. So I'm going to make a little hole. Get out of the way, make a little hole. And just gently prise the plant up, prise the seedling up. Grab it by its leaf, if you can. Not much to it at the moment. Into the hole and just gently push the compost around it. Make the hole. Take it by its leaf, never touch the stem if you can help it. Okay, that's those then. So I'm going to label those and bring you back in a minute. Okay then, the other way is to tip the whole lot out. Now that I've got rid of the second half, just carefully, very, very gently tip them out. Look how far the roots have extended. And same again with these small pots. Another tool you can use for teasing them. Oh, you can smell the basil coming off that. Smell the... Oh, much stronger than those. Much stronger than the dark opal. Yeah, another thing you can use for teasing the plants apart is the actual label. There we are. Much better roots on these. Put them there for now. And last but not least, give them a good watering, get the roots settled in, get the compost around the roots. There we go. Okay then, this basil Genovese that I've multi-sowed in a pot. What's that, a 5-inch pot, is it? Yeah. I'm going to leave those for a bit to get a bit bigger. Then what I'll do, I'll snip a few out so there aren't quite as many. But what I want from this is a big bush of basil, so I can just snip a bit here and there. Okay then guys, that's just about it with the basil. This is the Genovese basil. Look at that. Oh, smells lovely. I've been picking these gently, just in one here and there now and again, but now they're getting you know, big and bushy. I may pop this on a bit further, but I like it like that. Keep it small, take a bit off everywhere, and the more you pinch it off at the top, I can't see any now, but the more it will branch out from below. Oh, that smells great. So that's that one finished. That's the Genovese finished. I'm not going to bother with the rest of them. That's the black opal, and that's the cinnamon basil, yeah. A little bit slower to grow. They're still growing, but they seem to need a lot warmer temperatures. That's outside. These are still in the greenhouse or on the sunny windowsill. They'll catch up, but just take a bit of time. Right, and guys, what remains to be done is to use some of the basil. I'm going to do two very quick recipes, basil oil and pesto. You've got to use basil, haven't you? Pesto, cool. So let me start off with just the way I do basil oil, okay? Now, this isn't necessarily the best way, but it's the way I do it. So what I do, take a few leaves. I won't take too many because I want to have some left for the pesto. And just take the leaves off, the stalks, like this. Ooh. And what you need for this is a really, really sharp knife. If you have a blunt knife, you'll bruise the leaves and not cut them properly. And when you bruise basil leaves, they go brown and not green. And we want green, don't we? So I'm going to do, get them all together. And now some people do this in a processor and they blitz it all to pieces and they spend ages sifting it through a muslin cloth trying to get all the bits out. So this is why I do it this way. So just get a few. I don't make too much because I don't use it all that much. So in a jar. That'll do. And just cover it with a good quality extra virgin olive oil. That'll do for me, I think, yeah. That'll do. Right, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to nip this indoors. I'm going to put this in the microwave and only warm it in the microwave. It only wants to be just a bit warmer than hand hot. And then I'll just leave it for a bit and sieve it. Obviously the lid won't go on for the microwave, so I'll do that and I'll come back to you with that one. So I want to get on and do the pesto. Right, every Italian nonna has got her own pesto recipe. There's as many recipes as there are, I don't know, hairy dogs. So I'm going to do my way again, and what I do is, I've got to work this out now. 1 to 1 to 2 to 3. So 1 part pine nuts, 1 part Parmesan, 2 cloves of garlic and 2 parts of basil. So that will be, say, 50 grams, 2 of them, and 100 grams of basil. Very, very roughly. And then the 3 parts is 150 grams or 150 ml of oil. So I think the best thing to do is stick this in a food processor. Here we go. Oh, I'm going to have garlicky hands again. Half a packet of Parmesan, or whatever they call it these days. It's all different names, isn't it? That'll do. Right. I always put a bit more in later. Half a packet of pine nuts. 100 grams again, are they? Yeah. It's in the way. Tear here, yeah. If you got arms like the Hulk. Yeah. It's only guesswork. Every time I do it, it's never the same. And then just loads and loads of basil. Now you can use just the leaves or you can use the stalks as well. I'm going to use the whole lot because it's going to get blitzed. And if I leave a bit at the bottom of each, it'll branch out again, won't it? I prefer to use the Genovese type for this. It's got the classic basil smell, you know, none of these fancy little cinnamons and things like that. Let's get rid of all that. I'm looking forward to trying it with British basil, actually. Right, 150 ml. Now this is a litre, so that's about there to about there, I reckon. Yeah, can always add a bit more later. It's going to take a while. This is right. That'll do for now. We can always add more, can't we? Right. Get the lid on. Right then. Now I can't see what I'm doing here, so I'm going to bring you over. Turn it on. And we're going to go with chopped, start off with. Are we getting there, guys? Right, let's have a quick look at that. It's a bit high up for me, but yes, that looks okay. Right, yeah, let's get rid of this a minute. And what I'm going to do is freeze it. Now, everyone tells you that you shouldn't freeze it because it's got cheese in. I've never had any problem with it. So what I'm going to do is carefully get rid of that. And just carefully, oh, there we go, put a little bit in each cell. And what you can do, and I'll show you a little trick in a second or two. See, it's a nice chunky pesto, this. It's got bits of nut in it still. It's got a few leaves that haven't broken down properly, which is what I want. You probably can't see it from there very well, but I'm not filling each cell up to the top because, not bad, just about right. There's a little bit left as well, so taste test. Yeah, that's good. Right. Now what you can do, you can flavour your pesto a little bit. Tabasco. So what I'm going to do, the end 4, I'm just going to put a little drop on top. And I'll see which ones they are because it's red. There we are. And what you can do is pour just a little drop of olive oil, just a little level over the top of each one, and it stops the basil from oxidising, stops it going brown and mushy. There we are, like that. I mean, there's plenty of oil in there anyway, but it just stops any exposed basil from going anything but green. Well, there we are, guys. That's about it, really. Good ice cube tray this. It's got a lid, so it stops any other flavours getting in and stops the basil flavours getting out. So I'm going to do now is going to go and warm that in the microwave and I'll come back. Ooh, right, there we are then. That's been warmed up. It's just above blood temperature, like a hot bath. So it's not too hot at all. The oil has started to go green. Then what you can do now, you can leave this if you want. Leave it in the fridge for a day. Just to get a little taste of it. It's basil already. So you could just leave it, like I say, leave it a couple of days, or strain it into another jar and then use it as and when. Here we go then. Yeah. Just about right. I don't want it too strong. You know, the food is the star when you're cooking. The oils and the sauces, they're just the extras, you know. So that'll do. Label it up. Let's get that back in there so it'll make a mess everywhere. And a bit of washing up. Well, there we are, guys. Hope you like that. Basil from seed to plate. Take care, and I'll catch you on the next video.